Intimidating in person, but even more intimidating in the net, are the secretive Voodoo Boys. Exclusive and distrustful of outsiders, the all-Haitian gang is known for their expertise and ability of being the best netrunners in Night City. Strictly in Pacifica, the Voodoo Boys are known to do work out of the chapel, J. Edgar Hoover Elementary, Ocean View, and Skinny Frank's Titties and Beer, which I will definitely be exploring. The Voodoo Boys don't just confine to their own areas of net running. They are the protectors of the other Haitian refugees that live within the Pacifica combat zone. Since Pacifica was left to rot by the investors there, and there has been zero police presence ever since. In the past, the Voodoo Boys were entirely made up of the Voodoo priests and priestesses, the prominent social class of the Creole culture of the Haitian diaspora. But this all changed in 2062 when the climate change was so terrible that it wiped Haiti off the earth. But in 2077, they changed into the Voodoo Netrunners we see now. They use cooling suits and neural implants for their line of work, but being Haitian, they add a little voodoo flavor of dreadlocks, tattoos, and the bones and skulls of small birds and rodents to be used as charms. The prominent members within the group are T.I. Neptune, Felipe Agve Oresta, Placide, and Bridget. We can see some of them within the gameplay, and they do pose quite an intimidation factor. Being amazing netrunners, it is no surprise that the Voodoo Boys make their income from hacking databanks and accounts of the corporations for high-level intel that they can sell. They also make themselves available as mercenary netrunners for people who need hit-and-run networking operations, or to explore the forgotten and ruined parts of the old net. The Voodoo Boys don't really have any issue doing work for other people, but when it comes to people wanting to join them, that's where the issue lies. I did mention earlier that the Voodoo Boys don't trust outsiders at all, and this is true for even V. Gameplay-wise, we know V has to help the Voodoo Boys by learning why the animals, the other gangs in Pacifica, have moved in. We know V will have to start small and prove a worthy asset for them, but even if V can prove their worth, will the Voodoo Boys ever trust V? Not being Haitian, I can see them totally screwing V over in the end, unless V does something seriously crazy like take down Netwatch. Now, nobody really knows what the Voodoo Boys are up to, but it is suspected that they are trying to unlock the secrets of the old net. If you aren't sure what the old net is, it was the network before a legendary hacker known as Rach Bartmoss hacked the net and released his demons, which were basically malware to destroy it. This made the net unusable for the corporations and the average netrunner. This issue was dealt with when the UN created a group called Netwatch, which, as you would imagine, are really the direct rivals to the Voodoo Boys. Netwatch created the Black Wall, which blocked the old net and allowed them to rebuild the net in which people use today. The sole goal, as we know of the Voodoo Boys, is to probe that black wall and make contact with some rogue AIs that may live beyond the wall. Netwatch has been keeping a very close eye on the Voodoo Boys to try and stop them, as they don't really want anyone making contact behind the wall. The funny thing is that nobody really knows what would happen if someone actually did make contact with anything from behind the wall. Could the demons from the other side destroy the new net? Or is there something Netwatch is hiding or imprisoning? The net is the most mysterious part of the game for me. There isn't much info about it, especially the old net. If my memory serves me right, the devs have said there isn't any free play in the net, just a few cutscenes we will encounter, which is kinda sad, but hopefully they're very well done and worth it. And that is the Voodoo Boys, everyone. Very mysterious, intimidating, but yet care for their people and watch over them, which is a common thing among most of the gangs in Night City. Except they're trying to break into the net and potentially destroy the entire world. But personally, I cannot wait to work with the Voodoo Boys. I'm going to be making sure I'm watching my back constantly. Let me know down below how you feel about them. Are they cool? Are they kind of lame? I'd love to know. Make sure you sub so you don't miss out on any more info about Cyberpunk 2077. And you can also catch me live on Twitch, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific. And remember, always take it to the edge. It's the Cyberpunk way.